Good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Hindu Meditative. Today, 15th August, Happy Independence Day to everyone who is uh, listening this YouTube channel. The front page news is mainly the incessant rainfall in Himalayan states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand is creating havoc. It is related with Himachal Pradesh that due to heavy rainfall and landslip, what happened that in the summer hill areas of Simla, there a Shiv temple, Lord Shiva's temple, being month of Savan and a sacred day of Monday, Sombar, Savan and Sombar. You know that it's a very much considered auspicious to worship Lord Shiva on month in the month of Savan on days of Mondays. So while devotees were there in the temple itself collapsed. Number of casualties are expected. Chief Minister also visited the site. NDRF team is there to rescue people, and major development is that that there is a Simla Kalka railway that is a World Heritage UNESCO, that is UNESCO World Heritage Railway Simla to Kalka. Its bridge has collapsed. Tracks are destroyed. So this is one front page news. Then we have in editorial section the major news is regarding the central government's scheme of PMUSA. That is higher education funding in state by central governments. Prime Minister, this Department of Education, Ministry of HRD, you could say, the Ministry of HRD has come out with a proposal wherein the scheme is known as PMUSA. That it is Pradhan Mantri Uchitar Shiksha Abhiyan. Pradhan Mantri Uchitar Shiksha Abhiyan. It's basically college education, and 22 states have signed the MOU. There is a method that memorandum of understanding has to be signed between the state government and Ministry of Higher Education, and there are certain conditionalities like following the new education policy 2020, and graduation program should be 4 years, choice based credit system, and multiple entry and exit points in the university education. These are the new things that are being introduced, and basically you could say that new education policy measures are being cited. Now the states like Tamil Nadu especially, and some other states are also around 14 states and UT have yet not signed this PMUSA MOU with the Ministry of Higher Education, citing that it is infringement, citing that it is imposition of new education policy. Tamil Nadu has even cited to have its own education policy, and they are planning to have a collective effort to negotiate with the HRD ministry, because funding is 60% will be given by the center and 40% will have to bear, the state has to bear 40% share, and for that 60% you need to have MOU signed with the Ministry of Higher Education, and that contain certain basic provisions that objections are there. First is that National Education Policy, New Education Policy 2020. Then we have National Credit Framework and choice-based credit system. These things, and 4 years graduation course you have to launch. Just imagine, we have from time immemorial, professional degrees are given, bachelor degrees in professional fields like medical, engineering, dental, all other fields. You will find that these are 4-year courses. Now Government of India has come out that it is only humanities that they have 3 years courses. They say that no, it should be also made 4-year courses. Now there is resistance to it. The Hindu has cited that poor people cannot afford 1 year extra of getting themselves educated, so it's unnecessary. Plus there are objections regarding that multiple entry and exit points will lead to dropping of the students from this one. So these are the reasons that they have objected, and the crux of the editorial is that the center must revisit the PMUSA and take on board dissenting states, 14 dissenting states that have not yet signed the MOU. Now on the eve of Independence Day, we have articles by some. Kamal Hassan has one article written, Shashi Tharoor has written, Kamal Hassan has written on, his title is India, a Marvel That Continues to Endure. It says something like, you could say, Kamal Hassan has written, India, a Marvel That Continues to Endure. That beauty and tenacity, survival of India as a democracy after getting independence from British. They thought Winston Churchill in person more so, and other Western powers were very much apprehensive of India holding together due to its diversity, so rich diversity, linguistic, cultural. So this Kamal Hassan says that the Achilles heel is a phrase, something you could say ACHILLES, Achilles heel. It has a connection with Homer's Odyssey. That Achilles was a fighter, and Achilles heel means something like, you could say, vulnerable point. Your vulnerable point. You are so powerful, but you have something that makes you vulnerable. That is known as Achilles heels. So the writer says, Kamal Hassan, that is the writer of the article, he says that our diversity was considered as an Achilles heel by the Western power, but it has proved to be a boon. It has proved to be a very wonderful things, and we are able to harvest its beauty. So it has proved to be a positive things for us. Apart from that, it says that our founding fathers have foresight to frame the constitution in such a manner that it leads to secularism, federalism, universal franchise, and freedom of speech and religion, created a spirit of fairness and justice. And all this has led to our linguistic, regional, religious under rule of the law. So basically, constitution was a beauty in itself that has able to hold this democracy, and it has made it stronger. It has made it a force to reckon. It also says that now in the 21st century, as we see the decline of the Western countries, rise of the Eastern civilization is again on. So countries of global South are rising, there to the new potential, new things like that. So as Western civilizations decline, an epoch is fading, the colonization of the globe and things like that. Now, a civilization of the East, from the chain of the bondage, it is reawakening. Then he has one that hurdles to overcome. What are the hurdles? Barriers to overcome. one major issue is communal majoritarianism. Communal majoritarianism. You know that majoritarian agenda is not good for a holistic, cohesive society. We have to take into consideration everybody. And of course, the perennial issue of caste system and its poisonous inequities, that is the issue. But he is hopeful of the things that we are the children of Buddha, Ashok, Ambedkar and Gandhi, Tiruvalluvar is very sacred poet of Tamil literature, and Periyar, he was a reformer, a social reformer, contemporary of Gandhi. So he says that we are children of these great people, so naturally we have inherited. Our non-violent freedom movement was something specific, very much new, that resisted a colonial empire. And he concludes by saying that I dream of an India where no child is born in poverty or goes to sleep, and things will move on. Come, brothers and sisters, let me make this dream a reality. One article that we will discuss, a brief history of India's present. It's written by Niti Nair. It's a highly, you could say, critical, scathing attack on the present day majoritarian agenda being followed by the ruling party that has been in power for last 10 years. So this article basically, that is being titled A Brief History of India's Present, it starts with that we have a history of communal rights in India. In 1947, it was Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi and Bengal. Calcutta in 1964, Delhi in 1960, Bhiwandi in 1970, Delhi in 1976, Assam 1983, famous Nali massacre. Then again Delhi and Bhiwandi in 1984, Sikh massacre in Delhi. Then we have Meerut 87, Bhagalpur 1989, Gujarat 2002, Muzaffarnagar 2013, and Delhi 2020. And it includes Manipur and Gurugram 2023. So it says that here is a cursory list of big ticket rights, that the ones that get column space on front page of newspapers, make the 9 p.m. news headlines, and night after night, and victims are not remembered. It says that Section 144 of Indian Penal Code imposes curfew dutifully. Section 153A, 294, 295A are used to arrest those who hurt religious sentiments. There is a model code of conduct that Election Commission is supposed to maintain during election times. And then it comes back to our Nathuram Godse, that who killed Mahatma Gandhi. Nathuram Godse was an editor with newspaper. He was a versatile personality, a journalist, an editor, and co-founder Rifle Clubs in Bombay Presidency. He was also a devotee of B.D. Savarkar. B.D. Savarkar, you know, this government had a special reference for B.D. Savarkar. He was associated with the Hindu Mahasabha, and Nathuram Godse was his devotee. He followed him. And what was his slogan? The Hindu Mahasabha, B.D. Savarkar said that militarize Hinduism and Hinduize military. Militarize Hinduism and Hinduized military. Author says that first half is coming to fruition. That is militarizing Hinduism. It is there to see. Organizations like Bajrang Dal, Vish Hindu Parishads are running riots. Nathuram Godse, why did he kill Gandhi? He killed Gandhi for he thought that he held him responsible for partition of India. And he wanted to create Hindu Rashtra, where Muslims are nobody. Article quotes that Godse fought his own legal case after when his trial went on for murder of Gandhi. And it quotes High Court Judge G.D. Khosla, that in G.D. Khosla, the High Court judge, in his memoir, said that he was so much articulate and in such a manner he presented his case that had the trial been a jury based, he could have been acquitted for no crime, not being found no guilty, had it been a jury system like US. So Godse's demands for a nation where Muslims should be rendered invisible or forced to leave India, according to author, it is coming to true. Then it says that what if after 200 years, if historians will write about this present day, that is the brief history of India's present, what they would write? That parliament sessions are not running, regional parties are not given time, attention in the parliament, they are not even allowed to complete their speeches, interruptions, comment expunged from the official version. And they will also found that those who, what happened, that 100-degree change of interlocutors who were supposed to be conscience keeper of the country, what happened that 2013 and 2015, that within coming of this regime, they changed 180 degree. What led to their change? Then it has it says that it has been slow to name this age as we have been too slow to name this extreme hate, to recognize the significance of ideology in reshaping India into a Hindu Rashtra. Then, according to the writer, last column that she has in this particular a brief history of India's present, that life in a Hindu Rashtra, she imagines a Hindu Rashtra will be a state that imposes a particular set of upper caste Hindu norms on the entire country in the name of uniformity and homogeneity, where Muslims are afraid to look Muslim in public places such as trains and in protected spaces such as school and colleges, where Muslims' homes are raided for forensic analysis of their refrigerator, where Muslims are prohibited from renting or buying in gated communities, and lots of discriminations. And according to her, life in a Hindu Rashtra, where upper caste Hindu norms of women's subservience and seclusion are imposed on and imbibed by 500 million women quietly. Finally, she concludes by saying that a Hindu Rashtra will be a state whose fires will consume us all. So, it's not, as you know, that if we say that a fire will consume us all, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, Dalit, Buddhist, and those not deemed sufficient Hindu, and those deemed not sufficiently Hindus. She says that ordinary Indians are fighting this tendency, but it's like throwing a bucket of water on a wildfire. Now we come to Shashi Tharoor's article, that is Democracy in India, a gift and warning. Democracy in India, a gift and warning. Shashi Tharoor has argued that he quotes by saying that India is having G20 presidency and billboards in Delhi are plastered with that welcome to mother of democracy. Have not been read in the books that Greece is the mother of democracy. Then he goes on to elaborate that it is not like that. India too had its origin, and he quotes from Rig Vedas, from Buddhist scriptures, from Ambedkar's writings, that India had a very ancient tradition of republican system. You know that Vaishali in North Bihar was the first republic considered. That's why we call Bihar the Republic of Bihar. Vaishali was considered the first republic, where the system was very much democratic, and consensus has to be taken, participation was there. He quotes Rig Veda, that Rig Veda mentions concepts of Gramini, the head of the village. Then he quotes that Atharva Vedas are having the concept of Sabha, Samiti. These sort of concepts are there in Atharva Veda. So we have Rig Vedas concerned words like Gramini, Atharva Vedas, Sabha and Samitis. Then we have Buddhist scriptures in Pali that mention city-state of Vaishali in the 5th century BCE, and how they managed their own affairs. I will quote Ambedkar. He has quoted extensively Ambedkar's idea that Ambedkar referred to, he said that Ambedkar, three-piece suit and Western education and all, people thought that he was westernized exponent of Occidental constitutional system, westernized exponent of Occidental constitutional system. It's not like that. He was very much deep into Indian tradition also, especially in Buddhist traditions of, and he has observed Buddhist sanghas, sangh, that group of people, that sanghas, how he quotes, Shashi Tharoor quotes Ambedkar, the Binay Pitak, three Pitak, that Buddhist, that Theravada Buddhist scripture, that is Tripitak. One of them is Vinay Pitak. So this Vinay Pitak mentions, has evidence of democratic procedures in India regard of bhikshus, monks, for debates, motion, voting through a secret ballot system in their sangha. So such an old tradition it carries. It quotes Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, who wrote after 2 centuries Alexander the Great's invasion of India, and he mentions that Gan Sanghas were there, they were financially independent, administrative, judicial authorities were having, and they elected Raja. Then we have concept like Gan and Sangh were multitude. By 6th century they would come to self-governing multitude, Gan and Sangha. Now in modern sense he says that, Gandhian ideal of self-governing Gram Swaraj, Gandhian ideal of self-governing villages, Ambedkar very much differed from his Gandhian ideal of self-financed Gram Swaraj. According to Ambedkar, a village was, you should listen what his words are there. He saw villages as cesspool you understand, CSS, cesspool of caste oppression, and social and economic backwardness. Considering from a Dalit point of view the Indian village to be a sink of localism, den of ignorance, narrow-mindedness and communalism. He said that Indian villages represented, according to Ambedkar, it has been quoted extensively in this article, according to Ambedkar, Indian villages represents a kind of colonialism of Hindus designed to exploit the untouchables. The untouchables have no rights. They are there only to wait, serve and submit. They are there to do or die. They have no rights because they are outside the village republic, and because they are outside the so-called republic, they are outside the Hindu fold. So this untouchability system is there, was there. Gandhiji fought against this very much. Mulk Raj Anand has written a novel known as Untouchable, and now it's gone. But essence of the thing is that even after this, he had this misgivings, his feelings that our constitution is such that it could be changed, molded, it could be given a new shape. How? I would like to finally conclude by quoting this. Ambedkar constantly expressed fear that democracy he had helped create in the constitution could be undemocratically transformed. It is quite possible for this newborn democracy to retain its form but give place to dictatorship. In fact, if there was a landslide popular support, the danger of that possibility becoming an actuality is much greater. It was B.R. Ambedkar's warning, and that Shashi Tharoor finally concluded that you could not say that he had not warned us about the challenges and accommodations of our constitution. Finally, one more article in the text and context I would like to discuss. That is one regarding the new bills to the overall criminal laws. New bills to overall criminal laws. You know that recently Home Minister Amit Shah introduced in the Lok Sabha 3 bills replacing Indian Penal Code 1860, Criminal Procedure Code 1973 and Indian Evidence Act, and it will be replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Saksh Adhiniyam. This what are the major changes that has been discussed? I would like to highlight the major changes that are being, that what was the origin of this change? In 2020, Home Ministry had constituted a committee wherein Ranbir Singh, he was Vice Chancellor then National Law University of Delhi, under him Mahesh Jethmalani and another Vice Chancellor of NLU and a District Session Judge of Delhi were the members of this committee, and they were tasked to overhaul the criminal system that we have inherited from Britishers. Basically, this rule of law that we call was rule by law from the Britishers. They framed these rules to control this vast continent, and it was carrying in more or less. Now, this the article discusses that what was the mandate of the Criminal Law Reform Committee. Okay, the mandate was, committee was to recommend. What was the mandate of the committee that was constituted in 2020 regarding reforming the system? That was mandate of the committee was to recommend reforms in criminal laws of the country in a principled, effective and efficient manner, which ensures that safety and security of the individual, the community and the nation, which prioritizes the constitutional values of justice, dignity and inherent worth of the individual, per the committee website. That is, this had been quoted. Now, committee came under the attack for its lack of diversity and absence of transparency. That selective members were there. That was refuted by Ranbir Singh, Professor Ranbir Singh, who said that Our structural part is composition lies with the Ministry of Home Affairs, but he stated that committee has remarkable diversity and competence in professional experience, affiliations and scholarship. Finally, now some features of the new changes. One is that has the offence of sedition been repealed? The word sedition has gone. As I said, that Rajdroh has gone and it has taken place Deshdroh. There is a term between this. There is a difference between Rajdroh. Now Rajdroh is gone. It said Deshdroh has come. The main difference between existing offence of sedition and the proposed section is that there is no difference now to disaffection against the government. That I said Rajdroh. Disaffection against the government or bringing it under hatred or contempt. Then we have what are the key highlights of the bills. Very quickly we'll control. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita Bill 2023. You know that these bills have been sent to Ministry of Home Affairs Joint Parliamentary Committee, and it for further calibration and whatever it will come. So hopefully in the next session of Parliament will bring for final passing out of the law, becoming into law. So it says that Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita Bill 2023 seeks to replace IPC, that is Indian Penal Code, by repealing 22 of its provisions. Removing proposed changes to 175 existing provisions and introducing 8 new sections. It contains total of 356 provisions. Now, mob lynching, capital punishment for mob lynching has been introduced. Another new introduction is that the bill also criminalizes sexual intercourse under the false pretext of marriage or by deceitful means. This deceitful means will include the false promise of employment, promotion, inducement or marrying after suppressing one's identity. So it's a new development. Then provisions for the offence of adultery has also been omitted. Adultery, that you know that 377, that has been gone. Adultery and 377 is unnatural sex category that earlier used to be called. So this is also gone. Then we have provision of one omission, you could say, is that marital rape. It has not yet been, because you know that case of marital rape is going on in Supreme Court. So it says that provision legalizing marital rape has, however, been retained. And then we have Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita Bill 23. It will replace Criminal Procedure Code by repealing 9 of its provisions. It proposes changes to 160 provisions and introduces 9 new provisions. It contains a total of 533 sections. And some actions are that FIR copy has to be given, video FIR is made available to the accused and the victim free of cost within 14 days of the time. Video conferencing is accused person can be tried in absentia in a video conferencing mode also. Summary trial has been made mandatory for petty and less serious crimes. Summary trial, that you cannot go on and on. Then finally, the Indian Evidence Act will be replaced by Bharatiya Sakshi Bill 2023, which proposes changes to 23 provisions and introduction on new provision. It contains 170 sections in total. And finally, the statement of objects and reasons of this bill highlights that Indian Evidence Act has been repealed because it fails to address the technological advancement undergone in the country during the last few decades. The bill permits the admissibility of electronic or digital record as evidence and will have legal validity as documentary evidence. And they have defined secondary evidence also. So, thank you very much.